Morning, guys. Welcome to Words from a Friend podcast. I'm your host, Marty Carey, and this is the podcast that follows my book, Words from a Friend, a daily guide to a purposeful life. It's available at Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. We are on a 365-day inner journey together, so happy and grateful to have you along. We're on day 96 of that journey, and today's message is learning to receive. Learning to receive. That's tough for a lot of us. That is so tough. A lot of us are just, giving all the time, and we're not good at receiving. We're not good at having stuff come to us. Compliment, love, hug. We're just uneasy about that. Isn't that something? It is. It is, but I understand it. I certainly understand it. Okay? Receiving is the art of allowing goodness into your life. You would think that it would be the norm, but so many of us struggle with this. When we begin to look at ourselves as an energetic being having a human experience, we will begin to understand how we work and how life works. Energy needs to flow freely in order to have the highest potential. That high ground, that lighter way, the feather instead of the brick. We as beings of this omnipresent energy need it to flow freely through us and as us. It's allowing the light to live as us, right? We are dual beings, and the darkness is there, okay? That's just going to be, that ego is going to be there for our journey. So what do we learn to do? We learn to, we'll bring that into the light. We learn to bring that into the light, our darkness. We see what it's all about and love it into the light. Love it in there, just like, okay, you're going. The nasty part, we don't need to keep that. The contrast, well, we're going to know that. We're going to use that contrast to stay in our light, to come back to it when we fall off, right? Because we all fall off. We all fall short. That's okay. It's the part of the human journey. It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be. Because we're like pioneers of having a spirit trying to run this human contraption for a little while, right? We're pioneers of a human journey. We're having a human journey. And all that goes along with that, all the emotions, the mindsets, the energies, and it's a big whirlwind, isn't it? So how do you get all that and tame it all and bring it into focus? You got to understand the foundation, and you have to live your life from that foundation of truth, that you are indeed the light, and you're just having a human experience, and you use that light as your way through. You are your own shepherd when you align with that light inside, with the ultimate shepherd, right? Bringing us forth, guiding us forth, rather than us being lost all the time out in the world in our ego. Like the prodigal son. Oh, I'm just out here having a good time. Don't really know the way. Bing, bang, boom, down, boom, down, boom, down, boom. Right? Well, up is the light. Up and out and forward is always the light. Is always the light. And you are it in all of eternity. So you just have to harness it. You have to harness it for yourself. Okay? When we begin to look at ourselves as an energetic being having a human experience, we'll begin to understand how we work and how life works. We all tend to have erratic energy because we do not understand how to balance ourselves, right? Well, that is absolutely true. I had to learn how to balance myself with all that anxiety. Where's the balance of that? Well, calm, trying to be in the calm state, cool, collect. Where is that? How do I get there? Well, there is work. There's absolutely work to it, but it's really remembrance. It's knocking yourself back into remembrance every time you want to play the old roles that never served you, allowing that fear to control you, allowing that fear to stop you in things that you really know you could do, but there's that self in there that says, yeah, but what will other people think if you do it? They may make fun of you. They may not like you. They may hate you. Yeah, okay, well, I got a mission, so whatever. My mission is to bring more light to the world. Nah, then who's against me for that? God isn't against me for that. God says, yeah, baby, that's what I want you guys to do. That's what I want you to do. Bring your light and share it. Because the more we do it, the more we all remember who we really are to each other. And the hoopla, and the garbage, and the fear, and the control, and all of that bullshit that we see now. It's changing. Everybody wants freedom. Everybody wants it. Freedom from that. Freedom being told all the time, this is the way. When, man, a bunch of idiots and numbskulls, trying to control the world from a human perspective, from an ego, from this is my planet, this is my planet. Can you imagine the arrogance? This is my planet. Oh my God. God laughs at thee and says, okay, kids, that little playtime is over and the light is coming and I'm bringing it to bear on all my children. And the ones who don't remember that, the ones that are stuck in the evil, well, man, that's their day. They're going to face that day. They're going to face that day because nope, they lost it, refused to see it, refused to live in it, and just that's it. That's the downward, and we all have the capacity to get there. That's why we must choose the light. That's why we must choose the light as our truth, as our staff, as our shepherd's staff forward. That's it. We save ourselves through that light. That was Jesus. Jesus is light. God, that's universal light. That's truth. That is unconditional love sent us here. Unconditional love sent us here. For what? We all have a piece of that mission in here. We all have a piece of that mission because we all have a heart. We all have a heart. That means we got to radiate that from that place to bring forth, usher in, be the maitre d' of the era of the heart. The era of the heart. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? We have that capacity to do it, to make it happen. We are all magicians of that in our own life. We can create that in our own personal world. Then we can create it in the macro. If we can create it in the micro, we can certainly create it in the macro. As I've said before, peace is not profitable. That's why they keep us in this stress wheel, this slave world, fakey fake world. It's coming to a close, my friends, and you're going to need to use those higher tools in the new world. So get familiar with them. Love yourself. Love yourself first, okay? That's the first stop, is saying enough of the garbage. I've hated myself for too long. I have projected this self onto the world that didn't know, and I was believing a bunch of this crap, and I want to start anew. I want to erase my Etch-a-Sketch of the past and just start dialing in some new life, new ways, new speech, new actions, my abundance. I want to bring my true abundance to the world. Your true abundance is your true wealth, is your love, is your heart, is your acceptance, And so you have to accept yourself first for everything, for all of it, and say, okay, God, done some stuff here. Can you help me clean this up and take it away? Because I have a new path and I'm listening now. I'm a listener. I'm not a yapper. I'm a listener for the truth, and I'm walking in it. And that's it. That's my decision. The art of receiving is simply being grateful for all that enters your life. If it seems negative, the flow helps you to transmute this experience into an opportunity to learn and to grow, right? There's two sides to look at everything, really. This is a disaster. And the other one says, be more inquisitive. Soul says, be more inquisitive. Look for the lesson, look for the light, look for the way forward, through, up, out, whatever. Look for that. You got to have a deeper look than the first reaction that the ego wants to bring forth from conditioned past of how you normally do it. Normally I just go, and I go into frantic mode. And then after a good long while, that answer comes, only after I've, thrashed around and lost myself. So this is how we become open to whatever comes our way without fear or anxiety. Always remember, if it comes to you, it's always intended as a gift to you. It may not seem like it at the time, but it is still a gift for your soul, the eternal you. The human side of us, the human side of us sees good and bad. The flow of the universal spirit sees it as growth for you. These trials and tribulations. There is gold in them dar hills. It doesn't always look like that. It certainly does not. But in time, maybe, you look back and the hindsight, of course, gets 20/20 and you go, oh, well, this wouldn't have happened. And I wouldn't be here if that. And blah, blah, blah. And it's always a silver lining in there if you're looking for it. No matter how big the circumstance was, and that could take time. But it's always there. And it will reveal itself to you. Okay? Look for it. Always look for the gold. It may not seem like it at the time, but it's a gift for your soul, the eternal you. The human side of us sees the good and bad. The flow of the universal spirit sees it as growth for you. If you learn to allow it to be, understanding that there is indeed a diamond somewhere within, you will have chosen the higher path to understanding the true meaning of the lesson and intentionally trusting the flow to bring you to a better place from it, from a new understanding. That new understanding would not have come forth without this thing that happened, right? It's how life is in the world of duality. We learn from both the light and the dark. There's lessons in both, from both, all right? But when you bring them into the light will go, it'll help you translate the darkness. It'll help you translate the message from the darkness, other than it just being darkness, like a big bag of crap. All right, what's in there? Sift through this smelly bag and go, all right, what's the lesson in here? What's the light in here? What's God trying to tell me in here? How can I grow from this? How can I grow from this? And it will come. It will come. Look back on your life and remember how many times the so-called bad thing that happened led you to higher understanding, a better path forward, or a new and better relationship. Certainly with yourself. Certainly with yourself. If you're going through a bunch of grief and you're coming out and you're realizing that you've gotten closer to God, and that the people that have left us, they haven't left us forever, that it's just it's a wink of an eye. It really is. It's a wink of an eye, no matter what. So we have a job to do while we are here. We have a spiritual warrior job to do while we're here. We're to learn the lessons. We're to grow from them. And we're to help translate those lessons so other people can understand them. Maybe they don't have to go through them to understand them, and they can be empathetic without having to go through that horrible thing. And that empathy and that compassion will bring them far in life, because that is the true strength of being a great human. Look back, when you become aware of how the flow of energy works and its purpose to raise you up because it wants the very best for you, from you, and you'll begin to take the steps to cooperate with the flow and become aligned with this energy. Yes, it is also called being positive. Positive energy is just another name for love. Positive energy is just another name for love. When we leave this carcass, we're in pure positivity. There's no contrast of the negative there. No contrast of it. But we come here to learn from that contrast and grow like those Davy Crockett's. We're like the Davy Crockett of this planet. Learning how to be a human from an eternal viewpoint. That's when you see. That's where you really see with your third eye, is learning to be a human, understanding that you're really spirit, right? Then it's a costume party, that you have to be a great costume and help others and take the mask off and say, it's just, there's more here, people. Take off the mask. Let's get out of this 3D illusion and delusion that we are less than the light, when that's exactly who we are. Okay? Learning to receive love is very difficult for some. For many, they have a voice inside them that tells them they're not worthy. Yeah, well, liar. That is the lion ego. Pay no attention. Cast it out. Cast it out as numbskull emeritus. Or have done such horrible things that they shut off love to themselves. Can't forgive themselves. Can't possibly. Now it's like, okay, well, I might as well be evil because I've already crossed the line, and then they just stay there. It's like, ooh, man, if you only knew who you really were, that wouldn't even be a consideration. If you knew who you really were, it wouldn't even be consideration. No. This is life-killing choice. This thing about the thing about God, Jesus, the universal flow, or whatever we may call this benevolent energy, is that it's truly unconditional in its love for you. For you. It knows you personally because it created you to be you. And to untwist this nonsense that we get twisted up in here, and remember that you are the light and you have a better life ahead of you the minute you decide to do it and take God up on his offer and be pulled instead of pushed by the world. Be pulled by the light, and you'll know exactly what to do, and you'll be shown the places to go, and you'll be shown the places that you will be appreciated, and you'll find that place because you won't accept anything else. You'll want to be in that harmony wherever you are. Okay? That's the heaven within, connecting with other people who who want to live in that space as well. Yeah, not a lot of conflict and bullshit, just happy every day. Look at the sun, look at the sky, it's beautiful, having a, yeah, and then just enjoying that. The simple things can be the most glorious when you open up. This is the life-killing choice, the thing, let's see, unconditional in its love for you. It knows you better than you know yourself. All right, it does. So you simply got stuck in your ego and fell asleep in the truth of who you really are. You are part of the flow. When you leave this earth plane, you return to it. The flow knows only forgiveness and every other subset of love. That's all it is. That's all it is. It does not condemn you. It forgives, it nurtures, and shapes you. Your job is to just let it in, let it be, and move forward. Embody it. Embody it. Okay? Letting in the flow means forgiving yourself for past mistakes. Sin is an old religious term for making mistakes. God knows you're going to make a billion of them. That's what it's here, where it's a school. Of course we're going to make mistakes. But when we learn our lessons and move forward, then man, that's it. Bring the light. Bring the light into everything you do, and nothing is really a mistake. Move forward and create. Create a great life for yourself and for those around you. Okay? Get past the horrible lie and all of the lies of the ego. Move upward and onward into the new you. It does not matter who you are or what you've done. You can always choose to jump into the flow, which is the path to all you need and desire. Path to all you need and desire. It's how to live in your life. Okay? This world teaches the opposite of that. It teaches the opposite. But we're learning from within now. See, so the ascension is happening whether the earth is ready for it or not. But so many of us are. So many of us have been praying for this world to ascend. And it's already happening naturally. So you must feel it, or you wouldn't be watching this. You must feel it. So it's the new you bubbling up. It's really the oldest you, the eternal you, bubbling up and taking charge, saying no way. We're way bigger than this. We're not going to treat each other like this. It's not about politics. It's not about any of that. It's not about anything that separates us. It's about the opposite of that. It's about coming together. It's about coming together in the light and realizing that's who we've always been to each other. And we're here to bring this planet to light. Okay, guys, that's it for today. Do your part. You know what to do. Shine your sun. Shine your sun, and we'll see you tomorrow. Much love.